Hey guys, and welcome back to the Resident Evil Resistance tier list. I say welcome back because the first one I uploaded yesterday, yeah, that was fake. I uploaded it to see what people's reactions would be, to see who would get genuinely salty about somebody's opinion on a video game, and the reactions didn't disappoint. So now I know if somebody genuinely is happy with their placement in the real thing, but they were salty beforehand yesterday, that I know that, they're not quite as genuine as they may seem. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that fun. We'll get on to the real thing today, and it's going to be chunky. Believe me, people yesterday were like, why aren't they there? Why aren't they there? Look, this is comprehensive. We have got a lot of people in this tier list, and that is emphasized by the fact that today the whole video is just the F tier. So anyway, let's get it started with the very worst player in the game. And as with the first video, it doesn't change. It's Jametheus. I feel bad about putting Jametheus bottom because I admire his attitude, but ultimately, as previously stated, it's default equipment, it's default deck. He can't do anything. He's rank 120 plus with Daniel and Annette. His Nikolai is also being used as well, apparently I learnt about today from Mike. So yeah, Jametheus, a cult hero for the game, but certainly not a good player, and ultimately rock bottom. Second bottom, taking the silver spoon maybe, we have Catherine Rose. Now, Catherine Rose is a player you will routinely see in your games. They will routinely refuse to play, or when they play, they are bad. Catherine Rose ultimately isn't good at the game. I try and give everybody praise where I can, even Jametheus, I praised his attitude. But with Catherine Rose, they are just not good. They will throw a hissy fit over the most minor of things. So ultimately, second bottom. Third bottom, we have Alexis. Now, Alexis followed by loads of numbers. I won't say every number in their name because that would be too long to name. They run a very big time, not time drainer, time giver Spencer build. They have turrets, they have every creature costing over 4, every card costs over 4. You've got the highly explosive traps, the parasites, the infectious zombies, the turrets, everything's expensive. And by the end of every Alexis game, you have to have 10 plus minutes on the clock. Like, it's an unwritten rule. Thing is, Alexis basically runs a door energy build. Once he actually does get someone back to the safe room after you pull the door, it's a pretty hard job getting out, especially if you're Jan or the wrong character. Like, you'll hit a trap, a jester will scream and you'll get hit by the turret. Alexis is a genius in the most convoluted way. So credit to him there, but ultimately the overdrive build works once in a blue moon and it puts him third bottom of the list. Next up, we have the Doom 330, a bit more of a retro player. By retro, I don't mean that he's good. By retro, I mean he played a long time ago and he rage quit a lot. His builds were bad. I think he had triple leg holds in them and the works. He wasn't good. So yeah, nothing much to say here. And that is then followed up by It's the Guy. Now, It's the Guy was the guy who ran a pure liquor spam build. He'd try and lag everybody out, and he would quite literally break the game. People would get disconnected purely because he spawned too many liquors in Area 3. His whole preset, liquors. His whole deck, built around spawning lickers. That's what he managed. He was infamous for a period of time. Definitely just a bizarre way to play the game. In a way, you know, it's fun as well. It's a story to tell if you ever bump into him, but God, if you faced him more than once in one evening, as I did once or twice, it was pretty abysmal. Up next, we have Kitty Verena. Now, Kitty Verena is again one of these creature Spencers that falls victim to the fact that they're not very good with them. Kitty Verena will often struggle with their Spencer. They do run anchors, to be fair to them, so they have more of a chance, but they are very unresponsive with what they do, what they place on the field, and they aren't a good survivor either. Very, very poor Jill, very poor Val. Not a good player. They can pull something out of the fire every once in a while with Spencer, which ultimately puts them a couple of notches higher than the aforementioned players, but yeah, still F tier for Kitty Verena. Rapidly moving on, we have I Died at Camp Blood. Now, this player might not be someone most people know. That you might hear that name and be like, who? So I am also going to be including my close friends in this list, or people I know and have talked to more personally, so that you guys know that there's no bias here. I Died at Camp Blood is someone I've talked to quite a few times. I haven't played with him as much as, say, Mike, but yeah, he's still someone I've played with enough, even though he's not a mainstream player, to be like, yeah, I'm including him. To be honest, Campy isn't good. He is not good. He mains Sam. He's okay for his general like movement and understanding of where to be and what to try to do. Like he won't get lost in the map trying to follow you. But it's what he does when he's in the thick of the combat that is questionable. He'll gladly melee Nemesis without hesitation. He'll throw Molotovs at dogs, like one dog. He'll buy an 100 credit Molotov to throw at one dog. He'll throw a grenade at one trap. Like, it's really, really questionable stuff, and he dies a lot. So I Died at Camp Blood, next up in the F tier. Following that, we have Ultra Chihuahua. Very infamous player. Often didn't try. Apparently left resistance on while he was working. We know that wasn't the case. We could see him flicking between cams here and there. A lot of rubbish, to be honest. Ultra Chihuahua, I don't want to say a waste of space, but it's kind of the case, because it would be 10 minutes of nothing. And yeah, he could be lower, but when he did try, he was better than god-awful. He was awful, but not god-awful. So yeah. Next up is Vikaik. Again, maybe not as mainstream as others, but they've played the game consistently. You will bump into them here and there. They use melee on their Valerie. They aren't very good. They die a lot. There isn't much to say here. Up next is Goku Black 9999-ST. They are a high-ranked Sam main. Don't quite know what level they got to in the end, but they're not good. I can't remember the exact ins and outs, but I think they didn't like using equipment or certain skills because of some reasons that I can't specify. But yeah, for one of the highest ranked players in the game, Goku Black was very bad. I remember first bumping into him thinking, wow, look at this high ranked Sam, and then I was like, is that it? Is this what high rank is? Credit to them though, again, I try to be positive where I can, even in the F tier. Goku Black did message me first and complimented my January skin, so that was very wholesome of them. But as a player, sadly not very good. Up next is Val, my gal. I mentioned her in the Q&As, said they're one of the worst survivors I've played with, still holds true. They are in the F tier. They aren't good. They at least don't die as much as other people I've mentioned, but we're talking about fine margins here. It's hardly a shot up to the next level or anything. So yeah, Val, my gal, midway through F tier. Up next is Mo Odinson. Mo, he's likely someone you would have bumped into or seen around on a stream or just when you're playing solo, duo, trio. Mo plays a lot. He isn't a good mastermind. He isn't a good survivor. He's funny as fuck though, so that's something. But yeah, all round, Mo plays a lot of characters, honestly isn't good with any of them. His Tyrone can do something here and there, but we're not talking about much, so yeah. And speaking of Tyrones, we have Lucky Plane next. This guy is bizarre. He's an incredibly high-ranked player. His Tyrone uses literally every melee weapon in every match. Like, without fail, this guy will buy a Kashima, then a steel bat, then a sledgehammer, then a torch, and he'll also have a 2x4 stored away too. Like, it's honestly incredible. He uses every melee weapon in one match, isn't good with any of them. He's a nice guy though, I have talked to him. I believe he's Japanese, but we still communicated and had a fun match or two. Not a good player, sadly, though, so F tier it is, just around over halfway up. Next up is Prince Zarbon. Now, I was actually going to leave him out because I personally never really, saw him around, saw him do stuff, but I know he's infamous, I know he's a bit of a meme, a bit of a troll, to say the least. And I don't think he's particularly good either. I know he's not good. I won't go into too much more detail with him because it's hard for me to, but yes, Prince Zarbon, F tier. Next up is a mastermind who's pretty infamous for rage quitting towards the end of matches. It's Low Score. Now, this guy will always stay until deep into a game, but the second you break that third core, he's out of here. He played Daniel, he played Annette, he wasn't good with either, and he'd rage quit. Not too much to add there. Speaking about Annette, we then have Tom Field R. Now, this guy's a mainstay of Resistance. He'll be around the block no matter what time period you've played in, and he's never really got better. He's a creature spam Annette. He'll gladly lag someone out of the game and then keep relentlessly spawning creatures. And that's about all it is for him. That's all he's done for 3 years. He's fun to face because he's got paper-thin creatures, but good mastermind? No. Up next is Edenian, or Edenian, I don't know how you pronounce it, but Edenian's son. Becca Main, super high rank, really not good, rage quits a lot. Not much to add there. Next up is a person in my friend group. They don't play anymore, but they are MZ. She played Martin, I believe. She played Val, I believe. She was fun to play with in fun customs, casual customs, but she wasn't very good. Not much to add here because not many people will know her, but nevertheless, gotta put her in there. Up next is Anditspa, or I used to call him Anzitpa. I don't actually know which way it's actually pronounced, but yeah. Plays Jan, plays Martin, rage quits a lot. Often in and around the time you have to get Uric, actually. They just dip from matches if it's not going well. Don't particularly think they're talented enough to say that they should be able to quit as much as they do. Very boring to have them on your team. Yeah. Next up is the guy I call the number plate. In reality, he's called G25001-HD2000. Primarily known for being a Daniel player. They're not good. They rage quit a lot. And as I found out the other day, they play Valerie with yellow as their remedy. So yellow spray remedy. Yeah, enough said. Up next is one I actually kind of feel bad about, but it's Tricell. By all accounts, he seems quite a nice guy. I've never had a problem with him. He's nearly 999 with Alex, but his build isn't very intuitive. It's very clunky and it's quite easy to beat. I know people who have beaten him in solo who haven't really had to do much. They've won comfortably. And, you know, for his rank as well, you'd expect more. So, Tricell, nice to have him in the community, nice as a mainstay, but not very good. Another Annette next, and it's Pennywise, the man with very bad internet, the man who never acknowledges he has bad internet, and the man who, is in F tier. He's not good, you can farm a lot of time off of him, but he'll lag somebody out, be ignorant to the fact that he does, and just vibe, basically. So, yeah, Pennywise, next up. Into the top 3 of the S tier, we then have Red Gamer 0. Is this a little bit harsh? Maybe. That's up for you to decide. I think as a survivor, he is serviceable to a degree compared to some others in the F tier, but his Nikolai is honestly horrendous. Not good at all. Easy to beat, easy to farm. And he mainly plays Mastermind, so that's a big negative in his book. Maybe he could squeeze into the E tier, but that Nikolai is not good at all. I don't think I've ever lost to him. So, 3rd place in the F tier for Red Gamer 0. Next up, another friend of mine, a bit more mainstream. It's Resultant Mist 09. He's a Becca main. I think he's in the 600s now. He's... Honestly, as a player, like in terms of skill, he's not too bad. He's got a decent aim on him. He isn't too bad, but big negative with Mist is he stays in the safe room for the first minute of a match without fail almost. Like, he waits for people to pick up some credits so he can buy more ammo. I don't actually know if that's the reason, but that's the only conclusion I can think of. And yeah, he doesn't run a purely meta build for Becca either, which, you know, Becca's quite limited anyway, so if you're not running pure damage on her, then you're already putting yourself at a disadvantage. He plays shoulder pads on her, he plays baton, he plays... was it Waist Pack or Dakota? One of the two. And I think he has one FMJ on there. So, yeah, not good. Not good for the equipment. Could definitely be higher if he, A, started the game at the 5-minute mark, just like everyone else, and B, if he ran a better bit of equipment. To round off the F tier, we have Kletos 7. Again, on paper, maybe a bit harsh, but when I think about it in depth, he's not a good mastermind. His Jill is honestly really bad. And yeah, there's not too much more to add to it than that. So he'll round off the F tier. He's talented enough to have been a tier higher, but it's the Jill. If he played purely Mastermind, he could be higher, but it's that Jill. It's really not good. Anyway, we are 20 minutes in, and I think that's a good place to leave it at. Give you a little taster of things to come for the tier list. Again, I emphasize that the video yesterday was fake. Again, to see some of the reactions, to see who might behave differently if I gave them a good position in the real thing. Would their reaction have been genuine compared to the fake one? As we can see, there's been some reactions. Don't worry, the fake video, anybody that's commented on it, that hasn't changed my perspective on where I'm placing people, but I just did it as a bit of a social experiment. But anyway, the actual series is going to be longer, as you can see by this being the F tier only and taking up 20 minutes. A little warm up for what's to come, wet the taste buds, and yeah, this has been the guy who destroyed the community in one video, apparently. No, destroyed the game in one video. It was even more than that. According to what I assume to be Sparing Pickle's fake account that he made purely to comment on my YouTube. Very weird. But anyway, that's been me signing out for today. Hope you enjoyed the start to the tier list series. And I will see you for the next video, whether that be purely the E tier or the E and D mixed into one. We will see. But anyway, best wishes, thank you for watching, and take care.